Hi guys. Okay, so I found a video where I like the examples, but I don't necessarily agree with the rate at which he was doing it. So I'm going to kind of slow it down a little bit and see if I can walk through these examples with you in a slower pace. So I've muted him. I'm just going to kind of talk over him and let's see if I can make sense of this. Let's start with the first one. We've got a circle here in the top left corner where you're trying to find the area. Now stop and write down your area formula. Your area formula will be your area equals pi r squared. So when you're looking here, you've got to find the area of the big circle, and we're going to subtract out that inner circle because the question is asking to find the area of the shaded region. Be careful because he could just as easily ask you for the unshaded. So we're going to subtract out the unshaded from the shaded to see what's going to be left here. So here we go. So you've got the outside circle, radius of 4. So you write 4 squared times pi is going to give you the area of this big outside circle because the whole radius of the outside circle is 4. Now we need to be able to subtract the inside circle. The inside circle would be a 2 as a radius, so 2 squared times pi. Now, as you do that, if you were estimating, you would say 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 3.14 would be 50.24 if you're going to be exact. That's not necessarily the estimate, but let's see. Then the smaller one, if you do 4 times pi, because 2 times 2 or 2 squared would be 4 times pi is 12, and we're going to subtract that 12 from our 50, and let's see how close that gets us. So the 12 is going to be subtracted from, oh, we wrote 4, and we should have wrote from the 50, and it became about 7.7. I got 37.68, not 37.7. On a test, you're going to be around that. So you normally are able to eliminate answers that aren't reasonable just by even doing estimation. So you know you're going to be close to around 40, and your answer should be there. But let's start using 3.14 when you see those decimals to make sure we're being more exact. All right, let's move on to the next one here. This time we're dealing with a square. So we know that this way is 4, which this way would be 4. That's going to be an area of 16 for the square. And then we're going to subtract the inside radius. Oh no, the radius isn't labeled. What do you think that radius would be? Well, it's got 4 for the whole thing, so halfway will be 2. So we're going to have a radius of 2. Let's keep this going. 2 squared times pi to find the area on this one. So that's just like the last one. We had 50 point, he's too fast for me. No, radius times radius. Oh, we already did the radius times radius. So we actually got 12 as our estimate instead of radius, because 4 times pi would be about 12. So we're estimating there that 16 minus 12 would be around 3. And we must use the exact here to have it 3.4, because technically pi is 3.14. All right, these examples go fast. I'm going to keep us, but at least we'll finish the video fast. All right, the next one. This one is Crazy Town. Oh, I'm in the way. Let's float me down to here. We'll go over here instead. Okay, so the radius of this circle is, oh, because there's 2 of them. So we went ahead and said we could just pretend, no, I don't understand, because the radius here, the whole thing is 16, so half would be 4. So you would do, oh, because there's 2 of them, how did they get 64? I may need to actually listen to the audio on this one. Let's see. What did he get? How did he get 64?
The circle has a radius of 8. 8 squared is 64, so we have 64 pi minus the...
Oh, he's doing the big circle. Oh, not the little circles. Okay, it makes sense now. So 64 would be this big circle, because the radius of the big circle, I would have drawn it this way, is 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. Pi minus, let's do the inside circles.
2 smaller circles, so we'll have 2 of them, times pi, and the radius of each of those is 4.
Ah, okay. So the radius on those 2 smaller ones are going to be the 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. So that whole formula is basically saying the big circle minus the two smaller circles. And the two smaller circles have a radius of 4. 4 squared is 16. All right, slowing it down, figuring it out. So that would give us, obviously someone's using a calculator here because I would not have done it that quickly, but at least we're showing how to set up these formulas. That's a real big part of this, just figuring out how to set up these formulas and calculate it out. All right, I bet I could figure out this next one a little quicker. We've got this inner one here is 4 is the smaller one. Oh, he's doing the bigger one first. Hello. Start with the big one because we want to figure out the big one so we know what to subtract. So the big one has a radius of 4. So 4 squared would be 16 times pi. Let's look at the small one. If the whole way is 4, that's the diameter, then the radius would be 2. So the radius is 2, so let's choose 2 to the power of 2 would be 4. So we're going to take 16 times pi, or 3.14. I'm going to estimate since he's being exact. So if I do 16 times 3, then I'm going to be subtracting that from 4 times 3, because radius times radius, 2 times 2 would be 4. It's going to be about 12. Let's see if I did that correctly. So we take our 16, so the smaller radius is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Alright, and then we do get a final answer of about 12. Why is it saying 37.5 inches? Did I do something wrong? The big circle was 16. 16 squared. Oh, this is just like our first example up top. This would have become, 12 is just the smaller one, right? Slow it down. We've got 2 to the power of 2 was 4. We're subtracting that out. So you're minusing 12 from the 16 times pi, which would have been 50, just like the first one. So this one is the exact same answer as number 1. All right. I think that's enough examples to kind of get it going. Those next two ones look pretty cool, but I think we're ready to move on. I think this has been enough. So thank you guys so much. Make sure that you're understanding by the end of this, hopefully, how to find the area, that shaded region. If you have questions, let's talk about it during our discussion. Thank you.